This video is going to explain how churches and religion remove all agency from a person's life and why it is a bad thing that a person doesn't have agency in their life. So I'm going to start it off with this quote from this guy. Having thus become a mindless tool, the stupid person will also be capable of any evil at the same time incapable of seeing that it is evil. This is where the danger of diabolical misuse lurks, for it is this that can once and for all destroy human beings. I believe when God in the Bible said that he gave people free will, what he meant to say is he gave us agency. And once he gave us agency, he believed that agency would guide us to do the right thing, because that's what agency does. Agency is about carrying the cost. It is about carrying the weight of your decisions. This is what a true leader does, not what your dumbass church leader does. And you might go, how do you know my dumbass church leader is a dumbass church leader? Well, let's talk about hating gays. If you ever deal with a Christian or a Catholic on the subject of gays, they will look you dead in the face and go, I don't hate gays. God hates gays. That's how that works. What is that? That is a loss of agency. It's not me, it's you. Now we're going to take this a step further with this church. If you say something bad about these people in this church, they murder you. They poison your food with heavy metals. They poison you with aluminum phosphide, strychnine, any fucking poison they can get their filthy hands on because they're disgusting human beings. But then they'll tell you to your face they're good people. How is that? Well, it's their religion. It's not them murdering you. It's their religion. It's their God. Their God has decided you need to be dead. It's not me. That's not me. It's my violent, stupid religion. Now, let's talk about creating agency in this. The first thing you say is, it's your religion. And they go, yeah, but these are the rules. And it's your religion. It's your religion. It's your religion. And you just keep saying that to them. That is followed by, if you want to give them continuously give them agency in what they do, go, it's you poisoning the food. It's you poisoning the drinks. It's you poisoning those people. It's not God. If God wanted to do it, God would do it. You think God is lazy and stupid and doesn't have the power to kill a simple mortal? Do you think that he has all these cosmic abilities, but for some reason needs you to go out and murder somebody? No, I would never be so offensive to God to tell God to his face, oh, you're so useless that I have to go kill this person instead of you. Dude, if I was God and you had that logic, man, I'd strike your ass with lightning. That's what would happen, okay? No, you think I'm useless and I can't kill that guy? Fuck you, dude, you're getting fucking killed. Legit. Now, this is the importance of, agency in your life. And agency, I believe, is a complex term, because whenever you hear about it, you always think like agency, like government, like CIA or FBI agency or agency. Agency is an actual very complex term. Agency is a very complex term because it doesn't just mean businesses or corporations or anything of that matter. It is a word that means, well, we're gonna look up what the actual complete definition of it, what it means, because I'm kind of an idiot, and I didn't have this brought up ahead of hand in my other computer. The A, E, and C buttons don't work on it. So, agency. Action or intervention, especially such as to produce a particular effect. Agency or intervention, especially such as to produce a particular effect. That means your actions have consequences. Okay. And one of the things I distinctly remember this coming up with my cuddle buddy, anytime you're dealing with a member of this church, if you ever talk about the consequences of their actions, you'll see a smug kind of smile on their face because in their brains, there's no consequences for my actions. They've literally murdered people. Okay, that is why they're so smug about it. They've literally killed people and they didn't go to prison, so therefore there are no consequences for their actions. This means you can just do things infinitely and nothing bad is ever going to happen to you. This is also the issue with believing you are a god, which is another delusion this church brings on. They convince people they're gods. Everybody in their church is a god, and that is extremely toxic because suddenly these people are going to appoint themselves controller of your life. And be like, oh, I can now murder every woman you like. I can now poison you at will. I can do whatever I want. I'm in complete control. My church enables me to. Only a stupid fucking government would let a stupid fucking religion such as this religion exist. Okay. One day China will take over because regardless of these institutions and their ridiculous bullshit, the issue is how they work. There's one guy in charge, the authoritarian, and once he's gone, the entire system falls apart. The entire system falls apart. That is why it is a system that does not work. That is why these people go through great lengths to make sure their dumb bastard church leader survives. Because if that guy ends up dead, nobody knows what to do. They just stand around looking at each other, going, "That's the guy that removed all agency from our lives, and now I feel like I have agency. So I guess I'm just gonna go home and raise my family and hope nobody arrests me for all the horrible shit I did because I was a part of a religion that removed all agency from my life." This is the importance of agency, but I was watching this video on Optimus Primal, in General Optimus Prime, and, I mean, and it was talking about carrying the cost, and carrying the cost means living with agency. The Autobots and the, whatever they're called in the Beast War series, the Animal Bots, or whatever the fuck, the Autobots were never warriors. The Decepticons were actually designed to be the ultimate warriors. That's why they can fly. That's why they have larger guns than the Autobots. The Autobots have the pew-pew guns and the zapper guns because Autobots were never meant to be warriors. They were actually like environmentalists. Yeah, it sounds crazy, right? That's why Optimus Prime has a thing about protecting sentient life. It's literally in his programming to defend sentient life. In the original Transformer series, the Decepticons are just extremely delusional. They believe the Autobots hate them because they're jealous of them. They believe it's all envy. They believe that the Autobots have a problem with the Decepticons because the Decepticons can fly and the Autobots can't. And that means the Autobots are losers. And because they're losers, the Autobots are jealous of them. They believe that everything the Autobots do is out of spite and they're envious. Now, what that is a projection. The Decepticons operate in the negative brainosphere, which is all envy, and this is why they decept. Everything's a lie, everything's deceiving, everything's antisocial, everything's a game. Starscream's the peak of a Decepticon, whereas Megatron is the peak of an authoritarian leader. Okay. But they couldn't be further from the truth, because what the Autobots are actually angry, and they're not angry, what the Autobots are actually fighting the Decepticons for is injustice. Because if everything is done through deception, just like the Decepticons want, that leads to injustice. That leads everything to be unjust. If Optimus Prime decided, like, hey, I'm an environmentalist, this ain't my fight, and he just stayed the fuck at home with the other Autobots and played Uno, then all the atrocities the Decepticons committed, they would just get away with, because there wouldn't be anybody there to stop them. And the Autobots, time and time again, if you look throughout the series, they actually get their asses kicked. And I remember watching this video talking about how the Autobots are really stupid. They're all inferiority complexes. They're extremely gun-ho. They want to get in there and start busting Deceptichops. And to that, what I say is, these guys are environmentalists. they're not trained soldiers. None of them are. In the original Autobot movie, there's a Transformers movie. There's a point when Optimus Prime passes the matrix of leadership to Ultra Magnus, and Ultra Magnus goes, "Prime, I'm just a soldier. I'm not ready." And then Prime replies, "Nor was I." Prime's original story was he was Orion Pax, and he ended up getting injured by the Decepticons, and then they rebuilt him as Optimus Prime. They rebuilt him. I think Prime might be the only Autobot that's actually designed for combat, hence the reason why he carries a large cannon. But the rest of them are not warriors. None of them are. That's why they all have pew-pew guns. They all have small handguns versus the Decepticons, and all the Decepticons, I think, have large guns. Maybe a handful of them have pew-pew guns, but most of them have very large fucking weapons. And they fly, and yeah, they're at an advantage, and the Autobots are at a disadvantage. You know, I guess this church would absolutely love the Decepticons because the whole keep them fighting one hand behind their back. Like, yeah, the Decepticons are the peak of that psychology, and they're called Decepticons, just like everybody in this church. They lie about everything. Like, there's no truth in it. It is all lies, and it's funny because Stu, and the truth as he lies. Like, buddy, I start to think if I get that wish, you guys just have to tell the truth. Trust me, if every one of these dumb bastards had to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, if somebody walked up to Stu and was like, "Stu, did you murder a bunch of women because your religion told you to?" And he just went on a fucking tirade explaining everybody he's ever killed, and then, like, at the end of it, dude, look, telling the truth is one thing, but that wouldn't give him agency, so he could be like, "It was because of my religion. I had to do it because of my religion, because I don't have agency." Like, but still, like, I'm pretty sure if you just listen to somebody talk about all the people they murdered because of their religion, I'm pretty sure every new member would eventually be like, "I don't want to be a part of you guys. You just go around killing people for no goddamn reason." "No, it's for a reason. It's for my religion." Okay, yeah, whatever, dude. This kind of thing with agency has been a psychological trauma for me growing up. Because my parents are severely emotionally stunted, and when your parents are severely emotionally stunted, you have to be the adult in everything. And millennials suffered this in general. I watched a video the other day, and it was talking about Quark Chungus, or millennial quarks, or whatever, and it was talking about Gen Z and Zoomers making fun of millennials because millennials at random act immature. And millennials at random act immature because their parents were emotionally stunted. Boomers were immature. Millennials act immature at random. They talk like little babies, or they do. Dude, I talk like Ed. That's where my hello came from. It is the small child in me leaking out, knowing that I still have to be the adult in this situation, no matter what. That is the cost of over-parentification. And that is the cost of what happens when you have somebody that has no agency, and then they cuck you with responsibility and agency, and then run out the back door screaming from it. Which is what everybody in this church does. Which is why I say I hate them, but the truth is what I feel when dealing with these people is injustice. It is a complete injustice for somebody to be like, "It's my religion, therefore I don't have agency, therefore I can kill whoever I want, I can do whatever I want, and nobody can hold me to account for it, because it's my religion." That removes all agency from a person's life. And once again, if we had psychology mixed with law, which would be the best form of law, in my opinion, if your church removed agency, if somebody was stupid enough to go, "This is my religion, that is why I kill people," your religion would be banned immediately. As soon as somebody was stupid enough to utter those words, your religion would be removed from the face of the earth. It would be expunged and then turned into a museum exhibit. And then it would be like, this dickhead came forward and said his religion removed all agency from his life. So now we completely obliterated these people. And people might go, genocides or atrocities. And that's a complete overreaction. No, what's a complete overreaction is somebody murdering your wife and then looking you dead in the face and going, "I had to do this." She called us stupid. She said my religion was stupid. So we murdered her. No, you didn't have to do shit. You just don't like agency. Because agency means you're a piece of shit. That's what that means. Once again, if you have no values as a you have no values, you have no value as a person. You are a garbage human being, nothing more. Thank you.